Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Thomas Tuchel is now Manchester United's #1 target to be the next manager. Thomas Tuchel is a very good manager. He's won the Champions League with Chelsea, and he's got Chelsea to 2 finals. You know, Chelsea got to the Carabao Cup final this season and lost to Liverpool, and Chelsea got to the FA Cup final last season and lost to Leicester. Tuchel has been the Chelsea manager for over a year. He's under contract with Chelsea until 2024. Before Chelsea, he managed PSG, before then managed Borussia Dortmund, and before he's managed Mainz 05 and Augsburg. By the way, sanctions are being placed on Roman Abramovich. Abramovich is the Chelsea owner. Mauricio Pochettino has been relentlessly linked with the managerial role at Man United. Revert back to the other week, he said Mauricio Pochettino is on the verge of being sacked by PSG after PSG got knocked out of the Champions League by Real Madrid. He said Mauricio Pochettino will seek to become Manchester United's next manager. Mauricio Pochettino has been in charge of PSG for over a year. I think he has won a French Cup with them. His contract at PSG expires next year. Pochettino is a good manager, even though he's hardly won anything. He's managed in the Premier League, which is beneficial. Before Pochettino managed Tottenham, he endured a 5.5-year managerial tenure with Tottenham. He almost won the Premier League when he was Tottenham manager, and he got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final back in 2018. And before Tottenham, he managed Southampton. He only endured a short managerial tenure with Southampton, but still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the Premier League so far, and a lot of years ago he managed Espanyol. Revert back to when Man United sacked Jose Mourinho, Manchester United should have got Pochettino, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. And Erik ten Hag, you know the news on him. A lot of Manchester United fans would like to see him get recommended in. You know, it would be good for Erik ten Hag to come and experience the Premier League. Because he's not yet managed in the Premier League, and if he became Man United's next manager, I think he would suit the strappings of the club. He'd get the best out of these group of players, and he would be capable of winning trophies. You've got to admire the work Erik ten Hag has done at Ajax. You know, he's won trophies with them. He's developed the young players well, and revert back to 2019, he got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals. He's been the Ajax manager for around 5 years. Ajax appointed him in back in 2017. His contract at Ajax expires next year. Before Ajax, he managed Utrecht, before then managed Bayern Munich's reserves, and before then managed Go Ahead Eagles. And earlier on this season, it said Erik ten Hag told Ajax he wants to leave at the end of the season, and he had been learning English. Manchester United are looking for the 5th permanent manager since Sir Alex Ferguson. 4 permanent managers have been sacked since Ferguson. We sacked David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and last year Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ralf Rangnick, he's been Manchester United's interim manager for almost 4 months. He is Manchester United's interim manager until the end of the season, then he's expected to take up a consultancy role for a further 2 years. Well, earlier on this season it said Rangnick wants the permanent Man United job. Rangnick has lost 4 games in all competitions as Manchester United's interim manager. Man United recently lost 1-0 to Atletico Madrid in the Champions League last 16 at Old Trafford. So Man United are no longer in the Champions League, so now it's another trophyless season for Man United. Man United have not won a trophy since 2017. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. So Man United are now focusing on finishing in the top 4. Well, earlier on this season, Rangnick said that Man United's aim for this season is to finish in the top 4. Unfortunately, Rangnick did not get backed in the January transfer window. Rangnick's enjoyed 1 transfer window as Man United's interim manager. You know, we enjoyed the disappointing January transfer window this year because Man United didn't make any signings. We should have let Lingard and Henderson and that leave, but we blocked our exits. We had the incident with Mason Greenwood towards the end of January. On the other side of things, we loaned players out back in January. We loaned Donny van der Beek out to Everton. We loaned Martial out to Sevilla. Amad Diallo went out on loan. Tuan Zebe went out on loan, Ethan Laird went out on loan, and Teden Mengi went out on loan to Birmingham. So we let around 8 players leave in January. Before Man United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Earlier on this season, Rangnick recommended Ewan Sharping as an assistant coach and analyst. He also recommended Chris Armisen as an assistant coach, and he recommended Saz Chalenzin as a sports psychologist. I've got a lot of respect for Rangnick. I think he's a very good coach. He's German. The vast majority of German coaches are very good. Let me put into the equation. None of this squad is Rangnick's. You know, Rangnick is inheriting players who other managers have brought in. You know, in the last 10 years, Manchester United have spent around 1.4 billion. And in the last 10 years, Manchester United have only won 4 trophies. You know, Man United have not won the Premier League since 2013. The Glazers, they're still at Manchester United. They've been at Man United for a long time. They've owned Manchester United for around 16 years. The Glazers bought the club for 500 million back in 2005. Got to get the Glazers out of the club because they've been one of the biggest problems at the club for a long time. Revert back to earlier on this year, Richard Arnold got appointed in as the new chief executive. He replaced Ed Woodward. It was good news from Man United perspective that Woodward stepped down earlier on this year because Woodward was one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. Ed Woodward was at Manchester United for 17 years. In the summer of this year, I'm expecting Manchester United to make signings. In the summer of this year, I'm expecting Man United to sign a midfielder and a striker. On the other side of things, I'm expecting a lot of players to depart the club in the summer. Manchester United have got good players. We've also got inconsistent players as well. We've got Jadon Sancho. We're getting the best out of him now, which is good news from a Man United perspective. Jadon Sancho did endure a bad start to his career at Manchester United. Sancho did not settle in straight away, but not every player does. Sancho's still done nowhere near as well as a lot of United fans expected. Sancho played against Atletico Madrid yesterday and I thought he did well. He had a chance, it went over the bar. Sancho did get an assist in the 3-2 win against Tottenham last weekend. Manchester United signed Sancho from Borussia Dortmund last summer. We got him in a deal worth 78 million with add-ons included. Man United paid 73 million up front. Sancho's under contract with Man United until June 2026 as an option of a further year. Sancho did enjoy 4 good years with Borussia Dortmund before he signed for Man United. We've got Anthony Elanga. He's done really well since he broke into the first team squad. Elanga did play against Atletico Madrid yesterday. He had some good chances in the game. He had a close range chance when it hit Jano Black on the head. And Anthony Elanga appeared to be fouled in the build-up to Renan Lodi's goal. Elanga came off the bench and scored the late equaliser in the first leg against Atletico Madrid. Earlier on this season, Rangnick said that Elanga was close to leaving Man United. Earlier on this season, Elanga got racially abused on social media after he missed a decisive penalty against Middlesbrough in the FA Cup. But yeah, like I say, Elanga's been part of the club for a long time. He came up our academy. He joined Man United's academy at the age of 12. He's now 19, so he's still young. And he's got a contract with Man United until June 2026 as an option of a further year. We've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo did play against Atletico Madrid yesterday night. To be fair, he put a decent performance out. I do recall him having a good chance in the game. And early on, he produced some good touches. Don't forget, Ronaldo scored a hat-trick against Tottenham last weekend. That was his first hat-trick since he re-signed for the club. And he became the highest scorer in football history. Ronaldo missed the 4-1 defeat to Man City due to a knock. He said after that, though, that Ronaldo threatened to quit following his Derby Day absence, and prior to the Tottenham game, Ronaldo held crunch talks with his agent George Mendes over his Man United future. Since Ronaldo re-signed for Man United, he's scored 18 goals in all competitions. He's got over 800 goals in his career, and Man United re-signed Ronaldo last summer for 20 million, with add-ons included. He wears a number 7 shirt, and his contract at Man United expires next year. There's an option of a further year. And Ronaldo's won over 30 trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. We've got Juan Mata. Don't have a great deal of a perception on Mata because he doesn't get in the team much well. Mata lost his place in the team a while ago. I am expecting Mata to leave in the summer. Mata's contract at Man United expires in the summer. Mata came on in the game against Atletico Madrid yesterday night. Mata has been at Manchester United for 8 years, so he's been a long-serving player. Man United got Mata from Chelsea back in 2014. Got him for 37.1 million. Man United have also got Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard is not good enough to represent the club. Lingard has been part of the club for a long time. He came up our academy and that, but doesn't really get in the team much. Lingard is out of contract in the summer. At the second half of last season, Lingard enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. Like I said earlier on, Lingard should have left in January. We've also got Marcus Rashford. I think he's a decent player overall, but Rashford has enjoyed a lot of poor games this season. A lot of United fans, including me, have said that Rashford has not been the same player since he had that operation on his shoulder. Rashford missed the first 2 months of the season with that shoulder problem, and earlier on this season, don't forget, he picked up a minor leg injury. Rashford didn't start against Atletico Madrid yesterday night, but he did come on. Rashford's already been told that he can leave Man United this summer by Ralph Rangnick. The other week, Romano said that Marcus Rashford is considering his future with Man United as he is concerned about his lack of playing time. Rashford's contract at Man United expires next year. He's been part of the club for a long time. He came up our academy, being a United player since the age of 7. And been in our senior squad since 2016. Since he got into the senior squad, he's gone on to make nearly 300 appearances in all competitions. Man United have also got Edison Cavani. I think Cavani's good. Cavani didn't start yesterday against Atletico Madrid, but he did come on. Not so long ago, Cavani came back from a groin injury. Cavani's endured a few injuries since he signed for the club. Cavani will leave Man United in the summer. He's out of contract in the summer. He's been linked with a move to La Liga and he's been linked with a move to Brazil. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG back in the summer of 2020. Bruno Fernandez, he's also a very, very good player. He's one of our best signings and he's certainly one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. Fernandez, of course, played against Atletico Madrid yesterday. He did alright, weren't his best performance. I do recall him having a good chance in the game. Fernandez missed the 3-2 win against Tottenham last weekend, as he was out with COVID. Fernandez has been a Manchester United player for around 2 years. Man United got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. We've also got Paul Pogba. Pogba's a good player when he wants to be, and he's also an imperative player. Pogba did recently play against Atletico Madrid. I think Pogba's been pretty poor in his last, 4 or 5 games. But earlier on this season, Pogba was out with injury for a while. He's endured quite a few injuries since he re-signed for the club, so you can say he's injury prone. Not so long ago, he said Pogba's trainer claims that he will leave Old Trafford. It's mentioned that Pogba is interested in Juventus' return. Well, Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus before he re-signed for Man United. Earlier on this season, it said Pogba was open to Premier League offers if he leaves Man United this summer. You know, this season has been Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he re-signed. He's played over 200 games since he re-signed. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far. And Man United paid £89 million for him. So, reflecting on that, is our most expensive signing at the moment. We had Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but had to let him go due to limited appearances. We've also got Fred. Fred's not good enough to represent the club, as you all know. I've got my reservations about him. To be fair though, Fred has had his good games under Rangnick, and I thought he played well yesterday against Atletico Madrid. You know, his movement was good, controlled the ball, you know, got into good positions, his pressing was good, and his movement was good, like I've just said. Man United got Fred quite a few years ago from Shakhtar Donetsk, got him for £50 million. Scott McTominay, he's another one, not good enough to represent the club. McTominay played against Atletico Madrid yesterday and I thought it was poor. He's had a lot of poor games at United, but he's had his good games as well, McTominay, especially under Rangnick. I said earlier on this season that McTominay has been one of our best performers under Rangnick. McTominay's been part of the club for a long time. You know, came up our academy, revert back to 2020. He signed a 5-year contract to Man United, so reflecting on that, he committed his future to the club. Man United have also got Matic. You know, Matic not good enough to represent the club. You know, Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he gets his opportunities and he's the only predominant centre defensive midfielder Man United have got. Matic will leave in the summer, he's out of contract in the summer. Man United got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017, got him in a deal worth £40 million. And you know, we've also got Alex Telles. You know, that has been impressive under Rangnick. He's our first choice left back under Rangnick. Telles though wasn't that good yesterday against Atletico Madrid. Telles did get an assist in the 3-2 win against Tottenham last weekend. Luke Shaw, he's a good left back overall, but he's been nowhere near as good this season as he was last season. He was far superior last season to how he has been so far this season. Not so long ago, Luke Shaw recovered from COVID. Luke Shaw is injury prone, which is a concern. Shaw has been at Man United for around 8 years, so reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. I think his contract at the club expires next year. You know, we've got Harry Maguire. You know, he's certainly not good enough to represent the club. You know, Man United will look to sell him in the summer. We need to take the captaincy off Maguire. I can't understand why he's still the captain. And earlier on this season, a lot of Man United fans were demanding for the captaincy to be taken off him, but Rangnick came out and said that Maguire will remain Man United captain until the end of the season. Prior to the Man City game, it said Maguire was upsetting his teammates in the dressing room. Man United overpaid for Maguire. We got him for £80 million. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment, and he's the second most expensive sign at the club. Maguire's been at Man United over 2 years, and he's enjoyed quite a few injuries since he came to the club. Maguire played against Atletico Madrid yesterday. I thought he was poor. You know, he's bad error led to that offside goal by João Felix. And he was all over the place at the back. We've got Varane. He's a decent centre-back. Varane's done well in a lot of games. He's played in for Man United. I thought he played well yesterday against Atletico. Don't forget he had a good headed chance towards the end. Produced a good save from Jan Black. And, we've got Phil Jones. Nah, not good enough. Doesn't get in the team anyway. I'm expecting Phil Jones to leave in the summer. We've got Victor Lindelof as well. Not good enough, but he has had his good games this season. We've got Eric Bailly. Eric Bailly's a good centre-half, but, he doesn't get in the team much, plus he's injury-prone, which is a concern. We've got Diego Dalot. He's not a fantastic right-back, but I think he's been a decent right-back under Rangnick. Well, Dalot's our first-choice right-back under Rangnick. Dalot played against Atletico Madrid yesterday, and I thought he was very poor. Didn't get forward enough. Was to blame for the Atletico Madrid goal, and he received a yellow card. And Wan-Bissaka, he's another one who I don't think is good enough. Man United could look to sell him in the summer. And Wan-Bissaka's not our first choice right back under Rangnick. Dalot is, but Bissaka was our first choice right back when we had Solskjaer. De Gea, our first choice goalkeeper. De Gea's a world class keeper. De Gea's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Our second choice goalkeeper, Dean Henderson, is a good keeper, but he's our second choice keeper, doesn't get in goal much, does he? Henderson's only made 3 appearances this season. Henderson will leave Man United this summer. Got Tom Heaton, of course. Don't have a perception of him, he's just a backup, third choice keeper. Got Tom Heaton on a free transfer from Villa last summer, and I think Lee Grant is still at the club. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, like, explore on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.